The Royal Commission into Veteran Suicide has heard harrowing stories from right around the country. Tonight, 9 News speaks to some veterans taking matters into their own hands, building a first-of-its-kind support centre. Just a warning, some of the interviews in Jane Azzopardi's story are very raw and some might find them confronting.
At first glance, a former monastery in the outer suburbs of Wagga might seem an unlikely place to meet some sick but surviving war veterans. But beneath this crucifix, lives are changing.
One day I was walking down the street and I started smiling. I thought, this is strange. I'm smiling. I've been so miserable and angry for years, but I'm finally smiling. And that was a fantastic feeling.
40 years in the army left Ray with PTSD and chronic depression. He bounced between medical professionals before finally receiving treatment that worked. In these corridors, he and other veterans and first responders are now fighting a new battle to bring a range of medical and holistic therapies and treatments under one roof in their hometown.
This is a grassroots organisation because it came from veterans seeing their brothers and sisters commit suicide and realised that the current services are not working. They're failing in spite of best intentions and hard-working, dedicated and intelligent people being involved.
Former soldier and police officer Brad Fuson has a terminal neurological condition and dementia caused by the repeated head traumas he suffered while serving. In 2019, it put him into a coma. He woke unable to walk or recognise his wife. Treatment in a hyperbaric oxygen chamber changed all that. His son finally able to run with his father. But that treatment is in Melbourne, and when Brad can't get it, he regresses.
We've seen him go from being in a wheelchair, not being able to play with the kids, sometimes sitting and having a meal with us. Like this, talking, bright as a button. Next thing, he's on the floor. And it's like quick catchphrase, he's on the floor. Can't talk, can't walk, communicates with his eyes only.
You go full end stage. We've had to tell my children that their father's going to die 5 times. He's going to live 5 times. That's the doctors telling them that.
A hyperbaric chamber is just one of the treatments organisers want to bring here to the Patria Centre in Wagga. And it's not just about medicine, but mateship, having a coffee or gardening side by side. Wagga is known as the home of the soldier, host to an RAAF base and the Kapooka Army Training Centre. These veterans and first responders want to get better closer to home. And there's anger that currently they must travel to Sydney, Melbourne or Canberra for treatment.
In 2022, it's a crime. In my heart and in my mind, it's a crime that I have to go to hospital 5 hours away, leave my home where I could be doing all this here, and then using hospital for what it's for.
What's unique about this centre is that it's been driven by the veterans themselves, people who felt like they were falling between the cracks and wanted a place where they and their families would be cared for and understood. But they're not done. Patria now needs to raise $1.5 million to buy the Carmelite monastery and keep the centre operating under community ownership for themselves and anyone who needs it.
We've all been affected by it, badly. But we can see hope here. For the first time, we can see hope.
A beautiful, peaceful place where the broken can start to heal.
It's giving back. And that's what everything's about. It's giving back.
In Wagga, Jane Azzopardi, 9 News.
And if you or someone you know is struggling to cope, you can contact Lifeline on 13 11 14.